They're turning into a pretty good goaltender factory.
Interesting here, the starting lineup for Canada. On left wing, you've got Dylan Strome, and on the right wing, you've got Mitch Marner. So Strome, a center, is playing the left side, and the center of this line is Mitchell Stevens of Saginaw of the Ontario Hockey League. Strome and Marner have had great chemistry.
Pretty impressive for 17-year-old players.
DeBoral taken down by Marner, and as he does that, the first penalty of the game will go to Canada, and it will be Mitch Marner who goes off.
Court draft. You're not certain sometimes if the players are going to come, but they're getting a good one in Michael Spacek.
One shot on goal for the Czechs on that power play, and Canada's Robbie Fabry had a couple of chances as well, shorthanded.
Just back quickly to the Ivan Olinka Memorial Tournament. You know, a lot of underage players go. I first saw Jesse Puljujärvi at that tournament last year, and obviously after then becoming a figure and a real strong player for Team Canada in the gold medal victory. All those players have reason to believe that if they can play and show that they can contribute, that they could very well be invited to the selection camp in December, and Dave Lowry's going to be there watching the first 3 games. Much like these players here trying to leave the head coach with a very favorable impression, those players at the Ivan Olinka will have a similar opportunity.
Kotola comes in across the line, and the centering pass for Brokos is knocked away. Klapek, who had the only Czech goal against Canada on Tuesday night, fans on that. And here's Marner with it. Mitch Marner winds his way through center ice, dances around a couple of Czechs, now jumps in across the line. In comes Marner, can't quite get a shot away, but centers it, and a great chance in front for Dylan Strome, and Mitch Marner performs his magic again. No score here in the first period. You're watching the World Juniors.
Be ready to get that puck and understand where the opportunity is going to come from. Dylan Strome does a great play of getting to the net. You're going to see a better angle of it here. He sees Marner right to the front of the net. And the fact that it's
a double minor against the Czechs, so Skladiško goes off, as does number 24, Filip Perotnes. So it's a trip and a slash and a 5-on-3 for Canada. Pickets plays it back to point to Marner. So you got Marner and Point on the ice together. Marner slides that across, takes the return pass rather. Can't tap it home for Fabry. Now Fabry back with it. Spins back in the corner, back to Point. He's playing the Point in the power play. Hickets to Marner. Marner winds in, drops it down to Del Call, centers it, and Point takes a whack at it. And Karel Vejmelka
increase quicker. And that's one of the biggest things that players have to learn, is you have to play at a much higher pace.
Marner back to Hickets, across the Point, down to Fabry. Fabry plays it across to Marner. Loose puck for Del Call. They couldn't get a shot away. Now Point does. That's blocked. Point back to Hickets. Back to Point. Down to Fabry. Fabry to Del Call. Shoots. And the save made by Vejmelka. Rebound back to the Point. And scooped up by Fabry. Robbie Fabry winds in and shoots. His shot was blocked. Marner picks it up. Under a minute to go in the 5-on-3 for Canada. Marner winds in, shoots, and whistles that just wide. Now Hickets back with it. Joe Hickets with Marner now playing the Point in the power play, crisscrossing with Del Call. Del Call back to Marner. Stops it back. Del Call doesn't get all of that. And Vejmelka makes the save.
Del Call had a lot of good opportunities, some grade A scoring chances. You got to find a way to take better advantage of those.
8 to go here in the first period. Now working in, and a chance for Marner on the feed from Strome. Just misses. 3 games in the tournament.
And, you know, with the injuries to Brendan Perlini, and then who never even got into a game, and then Jared McCann right early in the first game, you know, it opened up some of those opportunities for a few of those players.
Whenever I come to this camp, and it's been many, many years now, my favorite one was in Ottawa in 2008. 44 players in campus. Spacek gets that away. The 44th rated player in the camp was awful. He had a terrible summer. They changed coaches that year. Benoit Groulx took a pro job. And so Pat Quinn took over. Pat Quinn had that player at the under-18s. Did a great start to the year and made the team. Jordan Eberle turned out to be a very important player for Canada in that World Junior.
Yes,
but he was awful in the summer camp.
And they won gold in Kazan under Pat Quinn at the under-18 that year. And, you know, you think about Jordan Eberle, and you think about not only did he become an important player that year, but he became one of the most important players in Team Canada World Junior history.
The greatest goal scorer they've ever had.
So you come in at 44 and you leave the best goal scorer.
It's amazing.
It is. And it's an important reminder, and Dave Lowry has said this to all these players. But just going back to Anthony Duclair coming into this camp last year and really making a positive impression, and we talked about the Ivan Malinka tournament, and you know, Dave Lowry watching and the opportunities. But the year that Canada, the 1995 group went, they won gold. In the gold medal game, Anthony Duclair never played a shot. Todd Gill, he went down to, they had 13 forwards, they had 4 lines. And Anthony, but you know, how he carried himself at that tournament in that type of setting with, you know, that matters too. You know, it's sometimes, you know, showing that you can be really important to the team and do the things for the team when it's not going your way are a big part of the consideration as well.
Mitchell Stevens lost the puck in the corner. Now retreating is Shabbat. As Andres brings it ahead for the Czechs. Thomas Andres, who plays for Slavia Prague, a proud program in the Czech league that was relegated last year. And a long shot in front of Blackwood deflects just wide. Fired in by Shabbat. 2.5 to go here in the first period. 11-8 the shots on goal for Canada. Czech Republic has not won a medal in the last 10 World Juniors. They have finished 5th, 6th, or 7th in every tournament.
And yet they feel like they're making some kind of progress. There was some dark times there for them after they had won back-to-back World Junior golds at the beginning of this century.
Braden Point drops it back, and the shot taken there by Merkley, knocked away by Vejmelka. Slava Leonard, longtime Czech national team head coach, is now the head of the federation, has really worked to try to improve their programs. As Dunn winds and shoots, that's blocked, but the biggest thing he's trying to do is keep the top Czech players at home for as long as possible.
Well, that begins with them believing that they have a chance to continue to develop.
Now Dunn works into Point. Braden Point has time and shoots. And Vejmelka makes the save. And the Czech coach is Jakub Penner, who says he will keep an open mind about Czech players playing in North America and their status for the national junior team. Over the years, the Czechs have kind of swung back and forth. Sometimes they refuse to bring players. Remember, Pavel Brendel wasn't brought to Winnipeg playing here for the Calgary Hitmen. He had like 25 goals at Christmas. The Czechs refused to bring him. Penner said that he won't discriminate against the player because he chose to come over here, but the Czechs look to a Tomas Hertl, for example, as a guy who stayed in the Czech Republic, developed, and became a frontline player in San Jose.
Well, it's Milan Milichka.
Lapik tries to center it, goes back to Miklic.
Told us the other night, they don't have enough good players. So you start to discriminate based on where they're playing, you start to hurt the team.
Hard to argue with the success that some Czechs and Slovaks have had after playing major junior North America, though. And his busting in is Barzal. With a chance, he shoots. Goes barreling into the goaltender by Melka, who made the save. And a terrific chance there for Matthew Barzal, who plays for Seattle in the Western League, the Islander first-round pick, 16th overall in 2015.
A good burst here. Doesn't get the shot off that he wants. Kind of flips it towards Vejmelka. You know, and Barzal, who played center in his only game, he's playing on the wing, and Anthony Beauvillier, who played the wing, is playing center. Like Mitchell Stevens and Dylan Strome have switched off. So, you know, we talked about playing in different spots with different players in different roles. You know, coaches evaluating how players handle that.
Coming up in our first intermission, we'll talk with Scott Salmon, who's the Senior Director of National Teams for Hockey Canada, about the program this week, and also about the Olympic question mark. What Canada might have to have as a contingency plan if NHL players don't go to the 2018 Winter Games. Fabric throws that ahead to Marner, back for Fabric. In comes Robbie Fabric, drops it up to Wow with a shot, and Vejmelka makes this hit, but the goal was scored at even strength. So Canada will look to continue its second and third period dominance we've seen so far in this competition. Out shooting the competition badly in the second and third. Sending pass and a quick chance for Marner, turned away in tight by Vejmelka. By the way, the original plan for Canada was for the goaltenders to split the duties tonight for Blackwood and Montembeault. Each play half the game, but it looks as though Mackenzie Blackwood will now play the entire game for Canada. So Blackwood gets 2 starts, and the other 2 get 1.
And like a lot of young goaltenders, you know, the ability is there, but, you know, a lot of times when a goaltender loses his confidence, you know, that's where you get some troubles. And I think Mackenzie Blackwood's no different than any other goaltender. That's happened to him, you know, at this young age of his career. So a chance to really work on that aspect of his game.
You wonder if Canada will go to the same.
Really good play along the boards. Mitchell Stevens with the initial contact, and then Dylan Strome in support. He finds Marner quickly for a real good scoring chance. But uncertainty when they're making the saves don't inspire confidence, but that certainly hasn't been the case with Mackenzie Blackwood in this game.
6'4", 215 pounds for the 18-year-old Blackwood. Both Blackwood and Montembeault are 18 years old, but they're born late in 1996, so they're ineligible to come back and play in next year's World Junior. So Canada, regardless, based on the 3 goalies we've seen here, would not have a returning goaltender for the 2017 tournament in Toronto and Montreal.
And if I had to mention 3 goaltenders born in that 1997 group.
Strome drops it back. Stevens misses that shot wide. The rebound batted to be there by Marner and put wide. Give us a quick Craigslist of the 3 goalies.
Zach Sachenko, the won gold at the Ivan Olinka last year, and was the the bronze medal winning goaltender for Canada this previous April's U18. Evan Cormier, who played at the U18, plays in Saginaw, and Aiden Hill, a draft pick of the Arizona Coyotes this year from the Portland Winterhawks. So I would imagine that those are 3 1997 goaltenders that will be closely watched. Zach Sachenko, who's from Calgary and playing involved with the junior team there in Blainville, and also with Team Canada.
Now LeBlanc plays it down to the corner, goes to Marner. Mitch Marner leaves it there for Waugh, down to Stevens. Mitchell Stevens back at the point to LeBlanc. Long shot that drifted just wide. Reminiscent of the shot that LeBlanc put in the net in the opening period. Lapik up ahead for Kotelak. Lapik looking for the loose puck. It bounced away from him. And he's good. Plays it right back down to the Canadian zone. Lapik looking for it. Lapik scored the only goal for the Czechs in their 7-1 loss to Canada on Tuesday night. Second-round pick of Ottawa in 2015. Marner takes the return pass. Winds his way in. Now Marner deals back in the corner. Marner throws it back in front. Stevens missed. Strome with a chance that goes off a skate wide. And there's Marner, never out of it. Marner has it back. Goes to the point. Picked up by Ove Kubel. Shabbat back to Hickey with a drive that was tipped wide by Marner. Might have been a high stick, and was. Throws it down to Stevens. He drops it back. In comes Marner, and Kotelak got a stick on him.
Travis Sanheim was the leading defenseman scorer in the Western Hockey League last year. But if Joe Higgins had played the whole year, he would have been.
In comes Marner. Drops it off for Strome. Dylan Strome, the Arizona 3rd overall pick, drops it back, and here's Marner with it. Feeds Stevens. Back for Strome. That pass misfired. Lapka has it back for the Czechs. Lapik buys some time. His centering pass deflected away by Higgins. There's that quick stick again. Spinorama at center ice. And a feed ahead to Marner.
He's been pretty good. And just quickly, like Joe Hicketts, when he left for the World Junior, he didn't get a full schedule in the Western Hockey League. So that's what hindered him from being the leading defenseman scorer in the Western Hockey League last year.
Now Marner back with it. Patience, waits, centers. Ove Kubel works in, doesn't get a shot away. The other factor in that, Craig, that isn't discussed as much is you miss time for the World Junior, but when you get back, you are completely worn out.
You are. And it's
So the next month, you're not the player you were when you left.
absolutely. I mean, the high of the World Junior is unbelievable for the players. The expectation that you would come back at that same level, you know, has to be tempered by the coaches and the respective teams.
Merkley winds his way in. Loose behind the goal. Merkley still with it. Drops it back off for Carrier. Alex Carrier in the corner for Point. Canada changing his point by some time. Drops the puck down to Dunn. Vince Dunn. Carrier. Belcole. Back to Carrier. Rolling puck for Merkley. Plays it back to Dunn. Tees it up and shoots at the deflection. Front one off a skate. And the Czechs clear it out. Remember Tyler Myers going back to Kelowna after the World Junior in Ottawa in 09, where he was terrific. His first game back for Kelowna, he took 2 delay of game penalties for putting the puck over the glass.
He was probably just trying to get a rest. Seth Jones, I saw him in Halifax at the CHL Prospects game.
Centering pass, and Goche gets it away to Belcole. He's turned away by Vejmelka. 5:13 to go here in period number 2. It's a 2-0 Team Canada lead.
This is Gordon. Downtown for a sales call. West Side for a presentation. Meeting after meeting. That's why Gordon fills up at his local Esso station. For gasolines that help clean his engine, which can lead to better fuel economy. So he can make it to the meeting that matters most. Gordon is energy. Esso. Energy lives here. The Esso brand is the official fuel supplier of the Toronto 2015 Pan Am and Para-Pan Am Games.
I type my name and date of birth, and step by step, decades were crossed. When I was lost, my ancestry tree showed me the way that led to you, and I saw you coming home.
With the world's largest online collection of family history records, exploring your family's past has never been easier. Simply type in a name at ancestry.ca. Who will you discover?
Well, Braden Point just showing his offensive capabilities, and not only is he gifted with the puck, but he's so hard to check and to mark and very elusive. He's always looking to deceive you. He's got great stick deception, and he just finds open space and the ability to make those plays.
So he's a 5'10", 163-pound pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've got Tyler Johnson there, who was an undrafted free agent.
Whatever you want to call it, value players, whatever the terms are. But when you can think and you can make plays, once you mature physically, you now have an opportunity to advance your game further to the National League level. And Joe Hicketts qualifies.
Jakob Zboril, who plays for St. John in the Quebec League, moves it ahead. That shot fired wide by Zenovic. Zboril was in the middle of a controversy last year. He played in the under-18 spring tournament, the IHF tournament. He was suspended in the Quebec League. The Czechs said they were unaware of it. It's quite possible they didn't know. So he played in the first game and then had to be pulled out of the Czech lineup to serve the rest of the suspension. Now to become a first-round pick of the Boston Bruins. And then we got a penalty coming up with 1:41 to go. And it'll be Mitch Marner who goes off.
Gets involved here. A little bit of a battle, getting competitive. Using his stick, taking a little bit of a blow, but they start camp in the middle of August. So, you know, for the players in that league that are here, they're getting going in about 10 days.
Dave Lauer was telling us his schedule is very strange. Got an injured player behind the plate, Jeremy Watt, able to get to his feet for Canada, make his way back to the bench. Now a one-time chance right in front for Marner out of the penalty box. Turned away by Vejmelka. They play 4 straight games against the Vancouver Giants at one point in their schedule, and 4 straight games against Prince George at another.
He said, I was talking to him about 2 weeks ago, we were having lunch, and he was talking about everybody comes to Victoria and plays 2 games. And he says he'd like to see that change. He says, you might surprise in the first game, but you can't surprise in the second game.
Lapic spins and shoots. He wired that high and wide. Lapic's been the best Czech player in this event so far. And a quick shot turned away, and Ordos in front, missed on the rebound. Mention that Lapic plays for Charlottetown in the Quebec League, is a second-round pick of Ottawa. Had 33 goals in 64 games last year in the Quebec League, his first year in that league.
He reminds me a lot of Adam Henrique in terms of his style of game. You know, good with the puck, a good thinker, not a whole lot of flash, but understands how to contribute in a lot of different areas of the game. He was a solid player last year. Gordy Dwyer, who's no longer the coach there, he's gone over to the KHL, is going to coach in Zagreb in Croatia. Thought he did a real good job with a young group of players in the World Junior competition. But the moments, as you well know, have been numerous, special, and unique, each and every one of them.
Well, Villiers centers it, trying to find Marner. Now back at the point is Shabbat. On the line, feeds it back in the corner. You got Strome and Marner back out there together. Now, wait to join as Stevens off the bench. And back up to center ice. This is Hicketts with it. Joe Hicketts will go to Traverse City, Michigan, to the Detroit Red Wings prospect rookie tournament.
For the second time this summer, he was there for their development camp.
Yep. Now a centering pass for Stevens, couldn't get the puck to sit for him. And it's scooped up by Perocta. In comes Marner. Slides it ahead for Strome. What a pass. Strome shoots, scores! Strome from Marner. Get used to hearing that. And it's 4-1 Canada.
To maneuver the pass from his backhand into a forward position and then being able to slip it beyond Vejmelka. Very good hands, very good awareness. And certainly those suspicions will never subside.
They seldom take my advice on rule changes. I campaigned a long time to get the red line out.
They might not tell you that they're taking your advice. And, you know, the maneuvering that went on,
right,
with respect to making sure you can make a player eligible, keep a player hidden, make another player. So, you know, you're right. They're not illegal, but they certainly bend the rules and the spirit of the rules.
Jasek moves to the corner now. Spins back to Vancouver draft pick. Drops it off for Gresh, who set up the only Czech goal. And now Strome looks ahead for Marner. Trying to return the favor. I didn't think he was a player. There's a tip that floats just wide of the goal. He might have weighed 140 pounds at the time. Right now he's listed at 163 at 5'10".
You know, when you come in and you're straight out of midget hockey and you were only under 140 pounds or so, there's no reason for anybody in that dressing room to believe that you're a player. You don't look like one, but when you get out on the ice and you show what Braden Point shows, you know, it doesn't take much convincing to understand that he can help you win.
So who will be that player this year? Who is the player that will come to Canada's selection camp not expected to be a frontline player who will step up and be the next Braden Point?
And that is a great question. I mean, I'm going to look at the 97 group. I'm going to look at that players. I'm not going to look at a Spencer Watson right now because he's in his last year of eligibility. But you know, I think of like Mitchell Stevens can play in multiple situations on your team. He was the captain of the under-18 team.
Oh, look out. After the icing, Miklas gets into it with Mitch Marner, and Marner's going to get, I believe, the benefit of the doubt here as the penalty will go against the Czechs. Thomas Havlin will go off.
It's a race for the puck here, and you can see he gives him a shot down. Clearly,
Marner give him a shot back, but
clearly after the whistle. This was the first overall pick by the St. John Sea Dogs. Played midget hockey as a 14-year-old player and was very good for the Lac St. Louis Lions.
In comes Marner, pulls it around, can't get a shot away.
But Jeremy Watt, he played as 14 in the midget league. And was
Chabot with a shot tipped in by Strome, with Marner standing beside him, and it's 6-1 Canada.
on the power play.
Yeah, power play goal. Strome now has 2.
Pretty good efforts all the way through this 4-day junior showcase. Chabot with his head up, hits the Czech player's stick as it goes off the stick of Thomas Chabot and then off the knee of Dylan Strome. Still ahead. But all in all, I think in so many respects and so many aspects, you know, Dave Lowry said this is the way we're going to do it. And the players have to understand that this is how we're going to do it. I think that's been clearly established watching the practices, watching the games, and that just helps you build a real strong base and foundation to ultimately do what you set out to do, and that's compete for the gold medal and win it.
So the next question will be for the Canadian coaching and management staff, NHL training camps, and who makes NHL opening day rosters that are eligible to play for Canada in the tournament. Obviously, Connor McDavid and Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad are not part of that equation, but you see the Canadian management.
It's important for their development. This is not a development tournament, but for the players' development, a real important step.
Spanska got knocked down at the line by Vince Dunn, and Stevens swings back to pick it up. Stevens comes winding in. Talk about the 2018 tournament. Tampa's bid's intriguing, huh? Stevens with a shot, and Pavelka just makes the save on that. So Chicago, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Tampa.
And, you know, I don't think that Tampa would have even been a consideration a number of years ago.
They
Now,
hosted a very successful Frozen Four, the NCAA championship a couple of years ago.
I remember years ago, and that wasn't that long ago, when Tampa Bay was having a lot of success, and I was sitting with Scotty Bowman up in the press box, and he felt that it was a fan base that really understood the game and had a great appreciation for the game, and